The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Introduction. Let me ask you a question. It's a simple choice. Imagine I'm standing in front of you with two options. In my left hand, I'm holding $3 million in cash. It's yours, right now. No strings attached. You can walk away a millionaire. In my right hand, I'm holding a single penny. But this is a special penny. It doubles in value every single day for 31 days. So, on day 2, it's worth 2 cents. On day 3, 4 cents. And so on. Which do you choose, the $3 million or the magic penny? Now, most people would snatch the cash. It's instant. It's life-changing. A penny? It seems like a joke. After a week, that penny is only worth about $1.28. You'd feel like a fool, watching your friend who took the cash drive by in a new car. After 20 days, with only 11 days left to go, your penny is worth about $5,000. Still, not bad, but it's nothing compared to $3 million. The temptation to think you made a terrible mistake would be immense. But then, something remarkable begins to happen. The power of compounding, that slow, steady, almost invisible force, begins to reveal itself. On the very last day, day 31, that single penny, doubling day after day, becomes worth over $10 million. More than 3 times the instant cash. This isn't just a clever riddle. It's the secret to a successful life, hidden in plain sight. It's the core of a little book that has quietly become a Bible for achievers all over the world. It's called The Compound Effect. Its author, Darren Hardy, isn't some guru on a mountaintop. He's a man who lived this principle from the ground up. Raised by a tough, no-excuses football coach of a father, he was hardwired for discipline from a young age. By 18, he was earning a 6-figure income. By 24, over $1 million a year. By 27, he was a self-made millionaire running a $50 million company. He did it all by understanding the profound power of that magic penny. By the end of our time together today, you will understand the single, hidden force that has been shaping your entire life, for better or for worse. And more importantly, you will learn how to harness it, to turn the small, almost invisible actions you take every day into a life of extraordinary success. Book summary. We live in a world that sells us a lie. It's a very tempting lie, and it's whispered to us from every corner of our lives, from the television, from the internet, from flashy advertisements. The lie is that success is a bolt of lightning. It's a lottery ticket, a magic pill, a secret formula that will make you rich, thin, and happy overnight. Darren Hardy has a name for this. He calls it the microwave mentality. We want our success like we want our dinner, hot, ready, and in 60 seconds. But the truth, the real, unshakable truth, is that success is not a leap. It is a slow, steady climb. It's the result of a force so powerful, yet so subtle, that most of us never even notice it's at work. This force is the compound effect. And here is the formula, the only one you'll ever need. Small, smart choices, plus consistency, plus time, equals a radical difference. It sounds simple. Almost too simple. And that's the trap. Because the steps are so small, they don't feel significant in the moment. Eating one salad won't make you thin. Reading 10 pages of a book won't make you a genius. Saving $100 won't make you wealthy. At least, not today. So, we stop. We give up, thinking it's not working. But we fail to see the invisible magic happening beneath the surface. To truly understand this, let's look at the story of 3 friends. We'll call them Larry, Scott, and Brad. All three are good guys. They grew up together, live in the same neighborhood, and make about the same amount of money, around $50,000 a year. They're all married, in decent health, but carrying a few extra pounds. Larry is the baseline. He just plods along, doing what he's always done. He's not unhappy, but he sometimes complains that nothing ever changes. Scott decides to make a few small, positive changes. He starts reading 10 pages of a good book every day. On his commute, he listens to something educational for 30 minutes. And he decides to cut just 125 calories from his diet each day. That's it. Maybe he swaps a soda for water, or holds the mayo on his sandwich. Tiny, almost unnoticeable changes. Brad, on the other hand, makes a few poor choices. He buys a new big-screen TV and starts watching more of his favorite cooking shows. He even installs a little bar in his family room and adds one alcoholic drink to his week. Nothing crazy. He just wants to enjoy life a little more. After 5 months, if you looked at these three friends, you wouldn't see any difference at all. After 10 months, still nothing. Larry is the same, Scott is still reading his pages, and Brad is enjoying his new TV. It's not until about the 25-month mark that you start to see visible changes. But by month 31, just over 2.5 years, the difference is startling. Scott is trim and fit. By cutting just 125 calories a day, he's lost 33 pounds. He's also invested nearly 1,000 hours in self-improvement by reading and listening to audiobooks. That knowledge got him a promotion and a raise at work. His marriage is thriving. Brad is now fat. Those extra 125 calories a day have packed on 33 pounds. He's now 67 pounds heavier than Scott. He's become sluggish and cranky. His work performance has suffered, and his marriage is on the rocks. And Larry? Larry is exactly where he was before, only now he's a little more bitter about it. This is the compound effect in action. It's not magic. It is a predictable, measurable force. Scott didn't become an overnight success. His success was the result of small, smart choices, repeated consistently over time. And this force works in both directions. Brad's life didn't fall apart because of one catastrophic event. It unraveled because of what Hardy calls the ripple effect. That extra rich food made him feel sluggish. Being sluggish made him cranky at work and less productive. That led to negative feedback from his boss. At home, he was too tired to take walks with his wife, which made her feel distant. One small, poor habit sent negative ripples across every area of his life. So, if we know that our lives are shaped by these small daily choices, the first and most important step is to take complete and total ownership of them. This is a lesson Darren Hardy learned when he was only 18 years old, at a seminar. The speaker asked the audience, "What percentage of responsibility do you have in making a relationship work?" People shouted out answers, 50-50, 80-20. The instructor walked to an easel and wrote in huge letters, 100-0. He said, "You have to be willing to give 100% with zero expectation of receiving anything in return. Only when you're willing to take 100% responsibility for making the relationship work will it work." That idea changed Hardy's life. He realized that if he took 100% responsibility for everything, his successes, his failures, his reactions, then he held all the power. No more blaming traffic for being late. No more blaming a coworker for a mistake. No more blaming your mood on what someone else did. It was all on him. If it was to be, it was up to me. This is where true freedom begins. But how can you take responsibility for choices you don't even realize you're making? Most of us are sleepwalking through our days. We eat that bag of chips without thinking. We scroll through social media for an hour and don't know where the time went. We are slaves to habits we never consciously chose. The first step toward change, then, is awareness. And the single greatest tool for creating awareness is tracking. Hardy learned this the hard way. In his early 20s, he was making a lot of money, but when he met with his accountant, he got a shock. "You owe over $100,000 in taxes," the accountant said. Hardy was stunned. He didn't have the cash. "Where did all the money go?" the accountant asked. "I don't know," Hardy confessed. The accountant gave him a simple, life-changing assignment. For the next 30 days, carry a small notebook and write down every single penny you spend. Whether it was a $1,000 suit or 50 cents for air in his tires, it had to be written down. That simple act was a wake-up call. It forced him to be conscious of his decisions. He'd find himself resisting a purchase just so he wouldn't have to pull out the notebook and write it down. That exercise completely rewired his relationship with money. This isn't just about money. Do you want to lose weight? Track everything you eat for 1 week. Not to judge yourself, but just to see. You will be astonished. Do you want to be more productive? Track your time in 30-minute blocks. The truth of where your time is actually going will likely shock you. You cannot manage or improve something until you measure it. All winners are trackers. The casinos in Vegas track every dollar. Olympic trainers track every calorie and every workout. By simply tracking your behavior, you become aware. And with awareness, you can finally make a conscious choice to change. But making the right choices isn't always enough. Because what stands between you and your goals is your behavior. And your behavior is governed by your habits. Aristotle wrote, "We are what we repeatedly do." In fact, studies show that as much as 95% of what we do every day is the result of habit. We are creatures of habit. For the most part, we are on autopilot, riding the horse of our habits without even holding the reins. So the question becomes, how do we break the bad habits that are pulling us down, and install the good habits that will lift us up? Most people think the answer is willpower. "I just need to be more disciplined," they say. But Hardy argues that willpower is not enough. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a little while, but eventually, your arms get tired, and the ball is going to pop back up to the surface. Willpower is a finite resource. It runs out. So, if willpower isn't the answer, what is? It's not willpower you need. It's why power. Your choices are only meaningful when you connect them to your deepest desires and dreams. You have to want something, and know why you want it, or you'll give up when things get hard. Imagine I place a long, wooden plank on the ground. It's 10 inches wide and 30 feet long. I offer you $20 to walk across it. You'd do it in a heartbeat, right? Easy money. Now, imagine I take that same plank and place it between the rooftops of 2 100-story skyscrapers. Would you walk across it for $20? Not a chance. The risk is too great, the reward is too small. But what if your child was on the other rooftop, and the building was on fire? Would you walk the plank then? You wouldn't hesitate. You'd be across it in a second. What changed? The plank didn't change. The danger didn't change. Your why changed. Your reason for doing it became so powerful that the how became irrelevant. When your reason is big enough, you'll be willing to do almost anyhow. Your why power is the fuel. Your goals are the destination. You must have clearly defined goals. A goal that is not in writing is merely a fantasy. But a goal written down, with a powerful why behind it, activates a fascinating part of your brain. It's like giving your mind a new set of eyes. Suddenly, you start to see the people, the resources, and the opportunities that were there all along, but you were blind to them before. This is the real secret behind the law of attraction. It's not magic, it's focus. But there's one more crucial step. Most people, when they set a goal, ask, "What do I need to do to get it?" Hardy says that's the wrong first question. The right question is, who do I need to become? Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. Before he met his wife, Hardy spent weeks writing in a journal, describing his perfect partner in incredible detail. Her personality, her values, her sense of humor, everything. He filled 40 pages. But then, instead of asking, "Where can I find this woman?" he looked at his list and asked a different question. What kind of man would a woman like this be looking for? Who do I need to become to attract a woman of this substance? He then filled another 40 pages describing the man he needed to become. And he went to work. And one day, as if she were peeled off the pages of his journal, his wife Georgia appeared. The key was focusing on who he needed to be, not just what he needed to do. Once you know your why, have clear goals, and understand who you need to become, you can start building the small daily disciplines that create good habits. You have to get rid of the bad ones first. Hardy offers a few strategies. First, identify your triggers. What situations, the who, what, where, and when prompt your bad habits? Is it stress? Boredom? A certain group of friends? Write them down. Awareness is the first step. Second, clean house. Get rid of anything that enables your bad habit. If you want to stop drinking soda, don't have it in the house. If you want to eat healthier, clean the junk food out of your pantry. Make it easier on your willpower. Third, swap it. Find a healthier replacement. Instead of ice cream every night, maybe have 2 small pieces of dark chocolate. Instead of crunching on potato chips, crunch on baby carrots or celery sticks. With these tools, you can begin to make new choices, build new behaviors, and repeat them long enough to establish new habits. And when you do that, something incredible happens. A new force enters the equation. A friend that every superachiever knows well. Hardy calls him Big Mo. Momentum. Think about pushing a merry-go-round at the playground. Getting it to move from a dead stop is the hardest part. You have to lean in, push with all your might, and for the first few steps, it feels like you're getting nowhere. But then, it starts to turn. Slowly at first, then a little faster. You keep pushing, and soon you can run alongside it. Eventually, it's spinning so fast that it takes almost no effort to keep it going. You can just give it a little push every now and then. That's momentum. Starting a new habit is like that first push. It takes a lot of effort and you don't see much progress. But if you stay consistent, Big Mo kicks in. And once you have momentum on your side, you become almost unstoppable. This is why the rich get richer and the successful get more successful. They've got Mo. But here's the warning: momentum works both ways. A few bad choices, repeated consistently, can create negative momentum that sends your life into a tailspin. So how do you get Big Mo on your side? Through routines. A routine is something you do every day, without fail, until it becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. The key to world-class performance is to build world-class routines. You can't control everything that happens in the middle of your day, but you can almost always control how your day starts and how it ends. Hardy calls this bookending your days. His morning routine, for example, is designed to set the tone for the entire day. It involves waking up early, thinking about what he's grateful for, planning his 3 most important tasks for the day, stretching, and reading something positive and instructional for 30 minutes, all before he ever checks his email. His evening routine is about cashing out the day, reviewing his performance, journaling his insights, and reading 10 pages of an inspirational book before sleep. By controlling the bookends, he ensures that no matter what chaos ensues in between, he starts strong and finishes strong, every single day. The danger, of course, is inconsistency. Think of an old-fashioned hand-pumped water well. To get water, you have to pump the lever over and over again to create suction and draw the water up from deep underground. At first, you pump and pump and pump, and nothing happens. This is where most people quit. They don't realize they're just a few pumps away from success. If you keep pumping, eventually, a few drops of water will sputter out. A lot of people quit here, too. All that work for a few drops? Forget it. But if you keep going, a full steady stream of water will finally gush out. You've got it. Now, all you have to do to keep it flowing is to pump the lever consistently with easy, steady strokes. But what happens if you stop pumping for too long? The water goes all the way back down. Your momentum is gone. And you have to start all over again with that same frantic, exhausting pumping to get it back. When you slack off on your disciplines, you don't just lose the results from the days you missed. You kill your momentum. You lose Big Mo. And that is a tragedy. Now, even with the best routines and the strongest momentum, there are invisible forces that are constantly trying to pull you off course. To sustain your progress, you have to manage the 3 great influences in your life. The first is input. What you feed your mind. Think of your mind as an empty glass. It will hold whatever you pour into it. If you fill it with sensational news, talk show rants, and social media gossip, you're pouring dirty water into your glass. Everything you create will be filtered through that mud. Garbage in, garbage out. You have to stand guard at the door of your mind. Limit your exposure to negativity. Hardy himself doesn't watch the news or read newspapers. He gets the information he needs through targeted news feeds, which takes him about 15 minutes a day. But it's not enough to just stop the dirty water. You have to flush it out with clean water. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Listen to educational and inspirational audio programs during your commute. The average person spends hundreds of hours a year in their car. That's enough time to earn the equivalent of a PhD in any subject you choose. The second great influence is your associations. The people you spend time with. The great philosopher Jim Rohn, who was a mentor to Darren Hardy, famously said that we become the combined average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Their attitudes, their health, their income, their habits, they all rub off on us, subtly and powerfully. Think about the 5 people you hang around the most. Are they lifting you up, or are they pulling you down? You cannot hang out with negative people and expect to live a positive life. Sometimes, this means you have to make a tough choice. You may need to disassociate from certain people completely. Other times, you may need to have limited associations. You can spend 3 minutes with someone, but not 3 hours. And most importantly, you must seek out expanded associations, find mentors and peers who are already where you want to be, and spend more time with them. Let their success rub off on you. The third influence is your environment. Your surroundings. The dream in your heart may be bigger than the environment in which you find yourself. Sometimes you have to get out of that environment to see that dream fulfilled. When Hardy was starting out in real estate, he would drive to one of the richest, most beautiful towns in the area. He'd just sit there, looking at the multi-million-dollar homes on the cliffs, and let that environment expand his vision of what was possible. Years later, through a series of incredible events, he ended up buying the very house he had admired for so long from afar. His environment fueled his ambition. Your environment also includes the clutter in your life. Every incomplete task, every broken thing, every unresolved issue exerts a draining force on you, sucking away your energy and your momentum. You get in life what you tolerate. If you tolerate clutter, you will live in clutter. If you tolerate disrespect, you will be disrespected. Raise your standards, and your environment will rise to meet them. Now, for the final piece of the puzzle. Once you've mastered your choices, habits, momentum, and influences, how do you accelerate your results and truly separate yourself from the pack? This is where you learn to push past your limits. Every one of us, in any great effort, eventually hits the wall. It's that moment where every fiber of your being is screaming at you to stop. It's the last few reps in a weightlifting set. It's the final mile of a run. It's the last phone call of a long day. This is the moment of truth. This is where most people quit. But this is also where growth happens. The reps you did before just got you to the wall. The real growth, the multiplied results, happens with what you do after you hit the wall. When you think you can't go on, push a little further. When you've done what's expected of you, do a little more. This is how you create wow. Think of Oprah. For her season premiere one year, she gave away a card to 11 people in the audience who desperately needed one. A wonderful gesture. That was the expectation. But then, she did more. She gave a brand new card to every single person in the audience. She didn't just meet expectations, she shattered them. That wow moment is what people remember. It multiplied the impact of her generosity 1,000 times over. You can do this in your own life. You can do the unexpected. Everyone sends Christmas cards. Hardy sends Thanksgiving cards, with a handwritten note about why he's grateful for that person. It's a small change, but it stands out. It has more impact. You can always do better than expected. Find the line of expectation, and then step over it. It's the little bit of extra effort that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. That is the journey. It starts with a single, small choice. That choice, repeated, becomes a habit. Those habits, when you stick with them, build momentum. You protect that momentum by controlling your influences. And you accelerate it by pushing past your limits and exceeding expectations. It's not a secret. It's not a gimmick. It's a formula. And it works, every single time. Commentary. The power of the compound effect isn't in some groundbreaking, never-before-heard secret. Its power lies in its simplicity, and in its return to a fundamental truth that we have almost forgotten in our fast-paced, instant gratification world. The truth is, there are no shortcuts. Success is earned in the mundane, unglamorous, and often boring moments of our daily lives. It's earned when you choose the salad over the fries, even though no one is watching. It's earned when you read those 10 pages instead of scrolling through your phone. It's earned when you make that one extra phone call when you're already tired. This book is a powerful reminder that your life is not the product of a few big decisions, but the sum total of thousands of tiny ones. You are where you are today because of the choices you made yesterday, and the day before that. And the person you will be in 5 years will be the result of the choices you make today. In a world that screams for more speed, more hype, more noise, this book is a quiet voice of reason. It tells us to slow down, to focus on the small things, and to trust in the power of consistency. It reminds us that the tortoise really does win the race. Not because he is faster or smarter, but because he just keeps putting one foot in front of the other, day after day. So, how can you put this wisdom into practice, starting right now? Here are 3 simple actions you can take today. First, track one thing. Just for the next 7 days, track one small area of your life. It could be every dollar you spend, or every calorie you consume, or how much time you spend watching TV. Don't judge it. Just become aware. This simple act of awareness is the first step to taking back control of your life. Second, turn your car into a classroom. The next time you get in the car, instead of turning on the radio, listen to something that will teach you something new. An educational podcast, an audiobook. Just that one change, compounded over time, can add up to the equivalent of a college education. And third, identify your why. Take 10 quiet minutes tonight, with a pen and a piece of paper, and ask yourself why you want the things you want. Don't just write down, "I want to be successful." Dig deeper. Why? For the freedom it brings? To provide for your family? To make a difference in the world? Get to the emotion. That emotion is your fuel. It is your why power, and it is infinitely more powerful than willpower will ever be. That was the book summary of The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. We've touched on the major ideas today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary can only ever be a map. The real treasure is found when you walk the path yourself. The true magic happens in the quiet moments of reading, when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has resonated with you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning, it's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself and the small, powerful choices you make every single day. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next journey into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing together.